Let me ask you something. What's one thing you've stopped apologizing for? Not because you became rude, not because you became caring, but because you realized you didn't need to be sorry. For a long time, I apologized for everything. Being tired, needing space, taking longer than other people, changing my mind, canceling plans, not answering the right way, not having enough energy to explain myself. And it wasn't because I wasn't doing anything wrong. It was because I didn't want to be inconvenient. I didn't want to be too much, too emotional, too sensitive, too quiet, too intense, too overwhelmed. So I padded everything with sorry. Sorry, I'm late. I can't. I need a minute. Sorry, I'm just tired. And if I'm honest, my over apologizing didn't just become from being polite, it came from survival. In many years, and in a lot of my dating life, there was abuse. Some verbal, some emotional, some physical, all of it was toxic. And I developed this automatic habit of saying sorry because I was afraid I would get in trouble, even when I hadn't done anything wrong. I felt guilt constantly, like everything was somehow my fault. I would cry inside and mask on the outside. Most people had no idea. I became hyper aware, reading tone shifts, scanning body language, watching for mood changes, constantly on edge, overstimulated, trying to prevent the next explosion. And at that time, I didn't even know I was navigating ADHD and autism. So imagine a nervous system that is already processing intensely, living in chaos. And of course, I apologized for everything. It felt safer. I pushed through plans even when I had no energy. I ignored burnout, overrode my body. I did what the other person wanted because keeping the peace felt like protection. I wanted normal. But when you lived in toxicity long enough, you forget what normal even feels like. You think walking on eggshells is normal. You think shrinking is normal. You think apologizing and existing is normal. And trauma wires you to anticipate blame. So you apologize for everything. That pattern followed me even after the relationship ended, even in the safe room, even around people. Even eventually, something shifted. I started seeing red flags earlier. I start like, I don't know, I couldn't fix everything, but I knew it wasn't burnout. I had taken too much on for way too long. And for the first time, I started saying no, thank you, without the apology attached. Not dramatically, not aggressively, just calmly. And the first time I did that, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. I felt I had control. Not control over other people, but control over myself, over my choices, my energy, my direction. I did I felt like I had more energy, but I had pushed through my body so far for many years beyond what my brain and nervous system could handle that eventually my body took over. Health issues, burnout, fatigue that wouldn't disappear. Because when you override yourself long enough, your body eventually says no for you. And here's the only thing I truly feel sorry for now: not protecting myself sooner, not honoring my limits, not believing I deserved safety, not taking care of my well being. That where my apology belongs. Not for being tired or needing space, or for having boundaries, not for saying no. Here's the distinction I hold on to now. If I cause harm, I apologize. If I make a mistake, I apologize. If I hurt someone, I definitely apologize. But if I have limits, that's not harm. If I need rest, not harm. If I grow, it's not harm. If I change, not harm. Limits are human. Boundaries are healthy. Capacity is real, and honoring that is self-respect. You don't have to earn the right to exist comfortably. You don't have to apologize for taking up space. And even if trauma still whispers sometimes, even if that reflex says sorry still shows up, you can pause and choose differently. That's growth. So I'll ask you again, what's something you've stopped apologizing for? You don't have to justify it, just to be aware of it. Because when you stop apologizing for who you are, you start standing differently, and it changes your world. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Tosha Lee Unmasked. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next Monday. All right, bye.